There was one very interesting case study that happened recently. One of Teacher Lu's personal friends recently came to Singapore to visit Teacher Lu. He's from the US. His wife got pregnant recently. What happened was that he knew that his wife's late father wanted to reincarnate as her fetus because her father passed away already. He didn't want that to happen for whatever reasons. So then he consulted Teacher Lu about it. One of the very interesting things that Teacher Lu can do is that, in layman terms, she can arrange a soul to reincarnate into a person's body. She calls this the high energy soul baby program. How it works is that, putting it into more science perspective, all of us, when we go into our mother's womb, our soul goes in. It's actually a process of energy frequency resonance. That means, as a soul, before you came into this world, you have a certain energy level, and so you are vibrating at a certain frequency. So naturally, you will connect to families that are also of a similar frequency as you. Let's say your soul's energy is very high, and this family's energy is very high and similar to you. So you will connect to them, and that's how that soul so-called reincarnates into that mother's womb. That is the science behind this reincarnation process. Gentlemen wanted Teacher Lu's help on this high energy soul baby program. Essentially, what Teacher Lu does is that when a lady is pregnant or before she is trying for a baby, she'll do this process where she elevates the couple's energy frequency so that a higher energy soul will connect to them and reincarnate. Anyway, this guy wanted Teacher Lu to do this thing for him. Teacher Lu deliberated because she knows that he has a lot of things going on. So she said, okay, I want to see y'all over a video call. Teacher Lu said the wife is 3 months pregnant now. 3 to 4 months is the most optimal time for this high energy soul baby thing to happen, where the soul can come into the system. She shares, why do I see a huge black cloud surrounding your wife and yourself? Teacher Lu said is that she saw 5,000 to 6,000 spirits that is hovering around them. And then Teacher Lu was like, I see that you did some very huge ritual before in the past. What exactly was this? And then this guy was like, in 2017, when I first got into spirituality, I met this I Ching master, and then he does Chao Tu. Basically, Chao Tu is a process where someone engages a master to give energy to this wandering soul, to elevate their energy state, to find them a proper place to continue their journey. So this guy was like, yeah, in 2017, I met my first Shifu, and then I invited him to this charity, and we Chao Tu one whole entire cemetery worth of spirits. So the entire cemetery, like all the dead people there, he got the master to like Chao Tu all these souls, help them spiritually ascend. She was like speechless. Why I want to share this, because in the realm of spirituality, there's a lot of different schools of thought. There's a lot of nuances to it that some people might not know. When we Chao Tu a soul, for example, it is good in some cases. Let's say this period is Qingming, people pay visits to their ancestors. So when we Chao Tu our ancestors, when we help them to spiritually ascend to a better place, it benefits us, because like what we mentioned earlier, our ancestral energy is linked to our middle subconscious energy. So when our ancestors become stronger in energy, we also become stronger in energy. So it benefits our life. In that aspect, it's good, but not in every aspect, just like for this case. So in this particular case, this gentleman thought that he was doing a good thing, helping these souls to go to a better place. But in reality, what he was doing is that he's disrupting all the spirits over there, because they've been there for so many years. The grave is like their home. They are happily over there. Every single year, their family and relatives come and pay respects to them. And now you uproot them. In US, there was 1 year where a lot of people died from a bridge accident. And then he also shared, I got this master to Chao Tu all these spirits. All these rituals they did in his house. Teacher was like, that's why we see this army of spirits wanting to reincarnate into your family, because you have this entanglement with them. Very interestingly, this gentleman, he comes from a rich family, second generation. It's a family business doing very well. But for him, he didn't manage the family business. Imagine you are the owner of the family business. You're such a good business. You want to hand over to your son for him to take care of it. But he just doesn't take care of it. He goes traveling around the world, go to different countries, and he's like a playboy. Teacher Lu told him that if you look back, ever since when you started doing all these things, your life started to take that turn where he got separated from his first marriage, and he started to not care about family business. He started to go traveling the world. His life started to go haywire in this way. This is also a form of negative energy as well, because you are dealing with this spiritual negative energy that you don't know about, and it's affecting you, and it could cause disruptions to our life in this aspect. Back to the video call that Teacher Lu had with him and his wife. She's an orphan because her parents passed away already. Teacher Lu asked the wife, do you have any dreams recently? So she was like, it's 2 weeks ago. I dreamt my late father, my late mother, and my husband. Just nice it tally, because Teacher Lu previously told him that your deceased father-in-law will 99% reincarnate as your child, which is what he doesn't want. Now it's 3.5 months in. This dream is a sign that the father is on the way reincarnating as a baby. And it just coincides with the period that the soul comes in at the 3rd month period. So now father's soul is halfway in, which is what Teacher Lu told this gentleman. So through the dream that happened 2 weeks earlier, the timeline entirely matches, because at the 3rd month is when the soul comes in. So now it's halfway through the 3rd month. So the soul is halfway in. So it coincides with the period of the dream as well. Teacher Lu says that your father-in-law is halfway in, then what happened to the other half? The other half, the 5,000-6,000 spirits grabbing onto him. Teacher Lu told this guy that this child of yours, if things continue like that, will definitely either be a stillborn that means die in pregnancy, or successfully give birth and become a living child. He'll be mentally handicapped, mentally disabled. On the soul level, this person is incomplete, which is is why it manifests as this. Yeah, so this is very interesting because this is one area of the cases that we see in society. People who are autistic or born mentally handicapped, one of the common reasons is due to ancestral middle subconscious negative energy. So in his case, to trace it back even further, Teacher Lu said, why all these things happen to you is because your ancestral grave energy has some issue. Teacher Lu shares that there are many different permutations, but sometimes it's due to issues with their grave, for example, flooding into the grave, or rocks collapse on the grave, or people do construction and then they remove the grave. Because the grave is like the home for the soul. So when these things happen, it will disrupt the peace of your ancestors, and so energetically they are disrupted. So it affects you. So that's one aspect of what affects the future generation from that ancestral point of view. All these are also a form of negative energy. Then the other form is the karma from the ancestors. For example, your ancestors killed a lot of animals last time, or killed a lot of human beings, or they did a lot of bad things. This negative energy is connected to you and it passes on to you. So these are two types of ancestral negative energy. For his case, it's more of the grave issue. And Teacher Lu told him, definitely in your family line, there are also relatives that is mentally handicapped. On his dad's side is mentally handicapped. One of his auntie on his mom's side is mentally handicapped also. Teacher Lu didn't know all this prior. Because of this ancestral energy issue, it results in this thing happening in his family. And of course, it created this series of events that happened to him in a sense. Because even for him, if you think about it, he's not mentally handicapped medically, but technically from an outsider's point of view, they might see him as mentally not proper because you've got a good family business, but you're just traveling around the world, being those rich second generation that just squander away their life. Now his child potentially has this issue. But I think this was a really great case study on a few things. Number one, don't be too adventurous like this guy. This guy probably thought, a lot of people say, I chow to spirits, it will help me. But sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, it could cause even more trouble, especially when you are dealing with spiritual stuff. So if you don't know, best to always check with someone that you really trust. For myself, it's Teacher Lu Xia. If you have spiritual leaders or spiritual master, then you can seek their counsel before you do any of these things, before you get hurt. Secondly, on how ancestral energies can affect us.